Yo, 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 what's up, guys? How you guys doing? What's up? What's up? What's up? So, yeah, today I'm going to be streaming some Grand Prix 4 with the 2007 mod. Uh, Basically, this game has a what's called a director mode, which allows you to just simply spectate the AI as a race unfolds, you know? And throughout the race, the game will change the camera positions from one car to another, or if there is some sort of action going on, like an overtake or someone went off the track or something, the camera will switch to that car, like it actually makes you feel like you're watching an actual Formula One race, so I think it's a amazing feature. It's a shame that modern games do not have this. I mean, modern Formula One games do not have this feature. But yeah, I'm also going to be using the 2007 mod. We are going to be doing the United States Grand Prix because for that race we had Vettel in the Sauber or in the BMW Sauber because of course Kubica had that big accident in Canada and he was replaced by Vettel for one race, and I believe he finished P8 at the United States Grand Prix. I think he scored 1 point. But anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm just going to start up the game, and you're going to begin in a second. I'm just want to make sure that the game is not too loud and stuff like that. Okay, just let me check the configuration of the mod. Yes, race type. Yeah, it's non-championship race. Okay, everything seems to be fine. So let me start up the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I did a few videos about this game before, but of course I didn't commentate or anything. It was like a short race that I just watched, and But yeah, I want to go into the options, the sound, advanced. Yeah, I do want to make sure that the game is not loud, so I'm going to reduce it a bit. Okay. Hopefully it's not going to be too loud, but yeah, I'm going to be switching over to the game screen. Just waiting for OBS to, just to check if everything is in order. Hopefully everything is going to be fine. It reduce the volume a bit. Okay, I'm waiting. Okay, it looks fine. Perfect. So, yeah, I'm not selecting any driver. Indianapolis non-championship race. Okay, everything is perfect. Drive. I'm going to skip the free practice session, but of course I'm going to be doing the qualifying. We have track options. Okay, so let's go for qualifying. Hopefully the game is not too loud, but of course you guys can let me know if it is too loud or too quiet when we are in the race. Because of course I turned off the menu music, so it wouldn't be a problem. Okay. I can swap between different like drivers and stuff, as you can see. No one is out on the track. Oh, actually the two McLarens are going to head out. Yeah, we got all the cars, the Williams cars, Toro Rosso, Spiker, Super Aguri, of course. Okay, the Ferrari is also leaving. Kimi Raikkonen. Yeah, a lot of drivers are leaving the track. So I'm going to swap over to the yeah, I wanted to do this. Perfect. So yeah, in a few, I don't know, sometimes it takes like a minute for the game to like actually change the camera angle and such. But as you can see, we have all the actual TV overlay from that season. It's part of the mod, of course. Yeah, we are for now riding with Hamilton. And yes, as I mentioned, I'm not doing the driving at all. We got more drivers leaving the track. I want to find Hamilton again because I think he's going to be the first driver. Okay, he's indeed on a timed lap. Yeah, it's such a shame that, you know, features like this just simply do not exist. So yeah, we swap over to Sato and Massa. They are fighting. I think they are not on a fast lap just yet. Yeah, we got Jensen Button also on a timed lap. Alonso behind Woods, I believe. Yep, it's going to be Alexander Woods. Couldn't really make the overtake just yet, but we are back to Alonso. Is he going to overtake into turn 1? And no. Woods managed to keep the position, although this is really slowing both of them down. Raikkonen is going to finish his lap in just one corner. And of course some straight, but Vettel behind one of the Spiker cars. I think it's Albers. I think he was the one who had this orange helmet with those black spots on it. But yeah, Vettel managed to overtake him. We got Button, third place. Hamilton is still in first place. So let me just pull up the other screen. So yeah, we can see here that Hamilton leads almost 7 tenths ahead of Massa and Raikkonen. Truly, Fisichella, Coulthard, Button, Barrichello are the top 8. But yeah, some elements that I can just, you know, change on the fly. Like I can pull up that graphics that we saw earlier. Rosberg P11 in the Williams. It's his second season in Formula 1. Of course, we got Button in the Honda. It was not a good car to say the least. The 2007 and 8 Honda cars were just not good. Hedfeld also struggling with Christian Albers. Yeah, he's holding him up a big time. Sato coming into the pits. I think the others will also, as they are running low on fuel. Yeah. Hedfeld and Albers is also going to come into the pits. And yeah, everyone else is also returning. So we got less than 10 minutes to go. Well, this is a rather weird camera angle. Let's see the... So yeah, Hamilton, Massa, Heidfeld, Raikkonen, Kovalainen, Vettel, Trulli and Fisichella are the top 8. I'm not sure how to, like... Oh. For a second I was like, maybe we have an accident in the pits, but it's okay. It's just the AI parking, you know, so it's fine. Rosberg is also being pushed back into his pit box. I'm not sure what's going on here with the two Spiker cars in the Toro Rosso garage. Okay, that was kind of, yeah, this is kind of strange because for whatever reason the Spiker cars are parked in the Toro Rosso garage. Well, whatever, we got one Spiker, Sutil, in 18th currently. 3.1 seconds lower than Hamilton. 8 minutes to go for the first part of qualifying. Of course, Sutil is not on a timed lap just yet. We switch, no, not that one. Wanted this one. Wanted the TV or the trackside view. Yeah, there are other drivers also on the track right now. Sutil is going to prepare for his time lap in a second. Of course, this is the first season of Adrian Sutil. He made his debut for Spiker, and then well, of course, Spiker became Force India, and he continued to drive for that team until 2010, because I'm pretty sure he was replaced for 2011. No, until 2011, because he had some sort of a prison sentence or something like that. He had a fight with a bar. I don't know, like he had a incident with someone in a bar. He stabbed someone, I believe, and yeah, he was out of Formula 1 in 2012. And yeah, he returned to Force India in 2013, and then he went to Sauber, and yeah, that was basically at the end of his career. He did stay as a reserve driver for Williams in 2015, but yeah, after that I'm pretty sure he quit racing altogether after that. But yeah, he had this really weird incident in a bar where he stabbed someone or hit someone in the head with a glass. Something like that happened, you know, and he was out of Formula 1 in 2012. Yeah, we are on board with Fisichella right now. Of course, the factory Renault team, they won the championship last season in 2006, but then they just completely lost it in 2007, basically. They were nowhere near the McLarens and the Ferraris. But the Williams in front might actually help Fisichella out a bit with some slipstream. Well, you can see the end of the lap time because the game took it away, but yeah, we jumped back to Sutil in the Spiker. And of course, he's not going to be, you know, really fast because Spiker was one of the back marker teams. It was a very short-lived team. I think they took over the Midland team in the middle of 2006, I believe. And yeah, they eventually sold the team at the end of 2007 to Force India. Or to Vijay Mallya. He was the one who owned Force India. And then of course Force India became known as Racing Point for 2 seasons, and then it's called Aston Martin today. But yeah, we can go even further back, you know, because before the team became Spiker, it was Midland, and then before that it was actually Jordan. until 2005. Between 91 and 2005, yeah, it was called Jordan. Okay, let me switch the camera because we are... Okay, we got some traffic in the pits. Is there anyone else? Okay, Davidson on a timed lap in the first sector. I think I'm going to leave it just so we can see, you know, one lap on board. But yeah, of course, Indianapolis is no longer part of the calendar. I think this was the last race here in the United States. Before, of course, they went back to the US in 2012 for the Austin or Texas Grand Prix. But yeah, it was a pretty dangerous track. I mean, still is, of course. Indianapolis is still around. Okay, Davidson is coming into the pits. Hamilton is still in first place. I don't know if he's on a timed lap or he just recently left the pits. But yeah, Hamilton first, Raikkonen, Alonso, Massa, so it's, you know, the usual people in front. Because around this time the Ferraris and the McLarens were just very high above everyone else, basically. Then we have Kovalainen, Heidfeld, Vettel and Trulli for the top 8. Now, unfortunately, I do not know how to, like, check the other positions. Because when I press B, it just goes away. But yeah, let's go for one lap with Hamilton. If we can, of course. So I have the director mode disabled right now. There is a Honda ahead of Hamilton, but I don't think he's going to be a bit of a problem. He's a bit slower than himself in the first sector. Just a little bit. That Honda might actually be useful at the end. Maybe if Hamilton can get a bit closer, he can be providing with some... that Honda can provide some slipstream. Okay, Hamilton is still slower a bit, but is really close to the Honda. I think this is going to be way too close, yeah. Yeah. The lap is ruined, pretty much. Yeah. The AI lifts out of this corner, so yeah, it's not going to be a better lap time. But it wasn't that far away, to be honest. Less than 2/10 away. And less than a minute to go. With Sato. He recently began his lap time. This was his second season with Super Aguri. This team was also short-lived. It was founded in 2006 and then it went bankrupt in 2008. I think it was the Spanish Grand Prix. They only yeah, I think it was the Spanish Grand Prix. They only attended the first 4 rounds of that season, and unfortunately they went bankrupt, which is a shame because I really like these kind of cars. You know, like I loved these kind of backmarker teams that, you know, they have no chance to be good, basically. Like they are not going to beat anyone, but they were still there. You know, they gave drivers some seats. They gave jobs to people, right? But yeah, the session is over, but we still have some drivers on a timed lap. So yeah, I really like the Super Aguri team. I think their car looks really nice. And these drivers are already finished the session. So Massa, one of the... I think that's Wurz in the car in front. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so I think okay, Schumacher. Of course, this is Ralf Schumacher, not Michael. Is there anyone else? Yeah, Rosberg, 13th place. Liuzzi, 14th. Alonso, 2nd. He was really close to Hamilton. But yeah, okay. Session is over. Everyone set their lap time, I believe. Yep. Everyone is just nicely going slow. So I think I can. Yep. So this is how the qualifying looked like. Because I think I can just abandon qualifying. And we are going to jump straight to the race. Okay, so we have Hamilton, Massa, Alonso, Heifel, Raikkonen, Kovalainen, Trulli, Vettel in P8. Then we have the two Red Bull cars, Fisichella, Button, Schumacher, Rosberg, Liuzzi, Barrichello, Sato, P17. That's not bad. We got Scott Speed in P18, then Woods, Sutil, Albers, and Anthony Davidson in the Super Aguri. So yeah, let's... Why is it 50 laps? Holy shit. Oh. Oh. Okay. I don't know why it's 15 laps. Might have to do some changes, because for whatever reason it's 50 laps just. It's not going to be enough. I wanted to do the entire race like this. Yeah, it's 50 laps, so I have to quit. Leave race. Leave, please. Option. Race option. Oh, okay. I was stupid. It was my mistake. But yeah, now it should be fine. Of course, I'm not going to redo the qualifying. I'm just going to straight up jump into the race. Okay, everything else is fine. Race. Okay, so now it's Kimi Raikkonen on pole ahead of Alonso and Hamilton. Then we have Massa, Kovalainen, Heidfeld, Vettel, Webber, Fisichella, Button, Rosberg, Trulli, Barrichello, Coulthard, Schumacher, Liuzzi, Wurz, Sato, Scott Speed, Davidson, and the two spikers of Adrian Sutil and Christian Albers. So yeah, let's just get straight into this race. But yeah, it was my mistake. I unfortunately forgot to check the race distance. It was only set to like 20%, so yeah, my bad. It was my mistake. But now it should be fine. Okay. Raikkonen in pole. Alonso, Hamilton, Massa. And okay, away we go. Raikkonen has a decent start. And okay, we are seeing the front of the pack. Hamilton might actually make... Oh, yeah, that was really close. But eventually Raikkonen managed to keep the position. But I think that's Heidfeld in 4th position. So far, I don't see any incidents between the cars. Yeah, there is no incident so far. Raikkonen managed to keep the lead ahead of Alonso and Hamilton. But Heidfeld did make up 1 position. Let me just swap to the director. Alonso is really pushing Raikkonen right now. He might be able to attack into the first corner. I guess he wanted to keep it like clean for for the first lap, you know, he didn't want to take any risk. But yeah, Alonso looks really fast. Right behind Raikkonen. He might, yeah, he's going to lift here. Yep, the AI always lifts. And with that, Raikkonen might be safe for third one. Okay, Heidfeld, fastest lap. Still in fourth position. Ahead of Massa. Vettel P7 right now. Fisichella, Webber, Wurst, Trulli, Coulthard, Rosberg, Barrichello, Liuzzi, Schumacher. Yeah, there was not much changes, but Davidson did fall back to the last position. Raikkonen has a bit of a gap to Alonso. And of course to Hamilton, but Hamilton is really close to Alonso right now. Oh, we got yellow flags. Something happened. Oh, we got a Toro Rosso in the wall. What is this? No, it's actually a Red Bull. Coulthard out of the race. Ah, what a shame. I don't really know what happened. But yeah, I tried to press the R button. Like when you press the R button, it plays the replay. But for whatever reason, it did not work this time. Yeah, so there is Vettel ahead of one of the Renault cars. Is it maybe Coulthard? Not Coulthard, I mean Kovalainen. Forgot his name for whatever reason, but yeah, it's Kovalainen, I think. Right behind Vettel. Both of them are rookies actually, because this season was the first season for Kovalainen in the Renault. Of course, he went to McLaren after for 2 seasons, and then he joined Lotus, but it wasn't called Lotus. It was it Lotus? I'm not sure. Again, yellow flags for someone. Oh, that is Albers without the front wing. Albers was without the front wing, but yeah. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, Albers is in the pits. He had an incident with someone. Maybe he was the one who put... Nah. Or maybe, yeah, maybe he was the one who put Coulthard in the wall. Maybe he tried to overtake and then misjudged the braking zone. The yellow... Well, as I mentioned, I just wanted to say that the yellow flags are still out, but not anymore. Barrichello. Behind him is Schumacher in the Toyota. Of course, Toyota ended up leaving Formula 1 in 2009 as a factory team, or as a competitor. But yeah, recently there have been some rumors that, you know, they might actually buy Haas and enter as a factory team again. But yeah, I don't know why would Gene Haas sell his team to anyone, basically. Like, it's such a good time to be a F1 team owner, you know, because when you look at the profits that these teams make, it's crazy. Yeah, like, for whatever reason, the race director doesn't seem to work. Just what I needed, bro. Like, I have it enabled, but it doesn't do its job. Oh my god. But yes, I mentioned in the title, it's kind of like a test stream of this game. Raikkonen fastest lap. And as usual, the AI lifts. And Webber overtakes Schumacher, who doesn't have the chance. Yeah, he couldn't retake his position. So he ended up losing one spot instead of overtaking Button. I mean, it was Trulli actually, never mind. It wasn't Schumacher. It was Trulli. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, why the race director doesn't work. Annoying as fuck. Should I quit the game and restart it maybe? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave. And I'm going to exit the game. Switch over to the other screen. Exit the game. Yep. And then I'm going to initiate the voting because I think that's the problem. But yeah, let's start up. Actually, let me quit this. Okay. Start, please. Yeah, sorry about this, but as I mentioned, it's a test stream of this game, so, you know. Just let me double check the race options, please. Okay, it's 100%. Perfect. Yeah, I'm hoping that this solved the problem. So I'm going to switch over to the game screen. On championship race, yeah, let's jump straight into the race. Okay, so it's Hamilton in the lead ahead of Heidfeld for whatever reason. Raikkonen, Massa, Alonso, Kovalainen, Vettel. Yeah, okay. I think this was the problem. At least I'm hoping that this was the problem. That I had to like restart and then it's hopefully going to be fixed. I don't know why it was like doing this. But for whatever reason, the race director did not want to do its job. So yeah, it's Hamilton on pole this time, ahead of Häkkinen. I mean, not Häkkinen, Heidfeld. And then the two Ferraris. Hopefully the race director is going to work this time. Yep, it is working, perfect. So it was the problem that I quit the race before and then I did another one. Oh, we had some sort of contact with Barrichello and who was it? Maybe was it his teammate? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's Button and Barrichello in P14 and P15. Was it just the first lap? Heifeld is in the lead in the Sauber. And then one of the Renaults are in P3. Massa, yeah, he's not going to pull off that move. He wasn't close enough. Oh, there was some contact between Sutil and I don't know who is behind him. But yeah, they made some contact. Unfortunately for Sutil, but doesn't look like anyone was damaged. At least for now. But yeah, Heifeld leads the race ahead of Hamilton. But Hamilton might actually attack into turn 1. Not the best camera angle, but yep, Hamilton does take the lead from Heidfeld. Unfortunately, the camera did not capture the thing at all. But yeah. Liuzzi. Yeah, I think it was Liuzzi who made contact with Sutil. Liuzzi also had a short career in F1. He drove for Toro Rosso in 2006 and in 2007 as well, but he eventually was replaced by Vettel. Oh, Woods went off the track. What happened there? I think he was coming. Yeah, it does seem like that he was returning from the grass to the track. He's behind his teammate now. But yeah, Scott Speed had a short career in F1. He was replaced by Vettel until for the last, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 races of the 2007 season. Fisichella attacking Alonso, but he can't really pull off that move. Raikkonen is pressuring Kovalainen for 3rd position. Vettel is right up there in 5th place. And of course, this was the first season for Raikkonen at Ferrari. And he did win the championship at the end of the season, but it was kind of a mess, this championship or this year, because of, you know, the Spygate situation with McLaren and stuff like that. And of course, McLaren was disqualified from the Constructor Championship at the end of the season, but it's very much, I think it's a realistic thing that McLaren was ordered to lose both titles, both the constructors and the drivers championship as well, because I'm pretty sure that throughout the whole season McLaren had no failures with their cars, like not a single issue. But at the last race, Hamilton suddenly had a problem with his car, and he was having the problem just long enough for him to lose positions, you know, and lose the championship at the end of the season. So I think it's very obvious that McLaren had to lose both championships. There was this rumor, you know, that the president of the FIA around that time was, of course, Max Mosley, and there was this rumor that he really hated McLaren, and he ordered them to, you know, lose the drivers' championship as well, because if they do not, then they are going to be disqualified from the next season as well. But of course, this is just a rumor, you know. It can be true or maybe it's not, but I think it's a realistic thing. Oh, we have a engine failure for Button right on the screen. And we have the two Super Aguris making some contact. But yeah, that's Button in front. No, that's Barrick. Yep, Button is having a engine failure. Yeah. So the Honda engine did not last very long, to say the least. He's still going, but yeah, you can see that he's... Well, actually, he just lost power right now, yeah. And he's just pulling to the... Oh, yeah. So yeah, sometimes the AI pulls off the track a bit too quick, I guess, and he just hit the wall right there and lost one tire. Hopefully that will not cause any more incidents, because the others are coming around soon. Hopefully the tire will get out of there. Yeah, that was a pretty big engine failure. Okay, the tire disappeared, perfect. I'm hoping that the same will be done for Button as well, because, well, he's in a slowly but surely getting closer and closer to the track. But, okay, I think he's going to stop now. Hopefully. it would be nice if he pressed the brake. We finally got yellow flags. Okay, he's right there. He did not go on the track, thankfully. But yeah, one Honda car out of the race. Did not last very long. And yeah, this is also another feature of the race that, or the game, that the car gets pushed to the side, you know, by a marshal. This is also something that we do not have in modern Formula 1 games. And this game came out in 2002. And as you can see, the car gets lifted out of the track. We are back with the others. Sutil and Davidson are in, well, not last place actually. There is someone else behind them. But yeah, it's just such a shame that, you know, like, old games had really good features like those, you know, that the car gets lifted out of the track and gets pushed off the track by a marshal and such. Yeah, Kovalainen is holding up the two Ferraris by a lot. I mean, just look at how much gap there is between Kovalainen and the first two drivers. Massa might actually make the overtake. No. Kovalainen manages to hold on to the third position. And we got Heidfeld, who, yeah, he's slowly but surely losing out to Hamilton, which is not a surprise. I mean, that McLaren car was really damn good. Was really good. And Massa, well, he's not going to overtake because, yeah, the AI just loses out. Around that corner, he's going to be overtaken by Raikkonen into turn 1. Kovalainen keeps his position for another lap. Yeah, Raikkonen did manage to overtake Massa into turn 1. Yeah, almost 6 seconds between Heidfeld and Kovalainen. Fisichella P9, he's outside the points. But he's ahead of Alonso. He's in P10. That's a really low position for a McLaren to be in. He's stuck behind Fisichella, his old teammate, because Alonso, of course, drove for Renault in 2005. Well, actually from 2003 until 2006. And they were teammates for 2 seasons. But yeah. You got Davidson right behind Barrichello. He's not... Yeah, he might actually be able to attack maybe into the first corner. Raikkonen fastest lap. He managed to overtake Fisichella, it looks like, and Massa also manages to overtake Fisichella, so... I mean, not Fisichella, but Kovalainen. So the two Ferraris can start reducing the gap to the first two. Barrichello P18 with some lockup. Yeah, he's being pushed really hard by Davidson. Which is kind of embarrassing, of course, because, you know, Honda was a factory team with a lot of money, and Super Aguri was a backmarker team. It was basically a Honda B team, and getting beaten by them is very embarrassing, you know. Yeah, we got Rosberg and Coulthard fighting for P12. I think that's right, not Raikkonen, but Schumacher ahead of them in the Toyota. Heidfeld 2.7. And Alonso. Yeah, he's not going to be close enough for an attack into turn 1. Yeah, Hamilton is really confident or comfortable in the lead. And Davidson might actually attack into the first corner. And now Kovalainen needs to look out for Vettel, who is running in P5. which is a really good position because, as I mentioned, it's his very first race in Formula 1. He replaced Kubica for one race, and then eventually he was signed by Toro Rosso to replace Scott Speed for the last, I don't know, 5 races or 6 or something like that. And then he stayed with Toro Rosso for 2008. He won the Italian Grand Prix after starting from pole position. And yeah, after that he went to Red Bull. He won a shit ton of races, and then he also won 4 championships, so he's a really successful driver. We are on board with Raikkonen, but as I mentioned, or just as I said it, we swap back to Davidson. He's still behind Barrichello in the Honda, but he pulled out of the slipstream. He might be able to get him this time. Heidfeld still second. And of course, thanks to BMW finishing in, well, not the BMW, but McLaren being disqualified from the championship, BMW finished in second place. And Alonso managed to overtake Fisichella, finally. He can start closing the gap on the others. Davidson still stuck behind Barrichello. I think that's Liuzzi in front of them in the Toro Rosso. But yeah, it so far looks very good for Hamilton. I mean, the 2 Ferraris might be closing in, but he has Heidfeld between him and the 2 Ferraris. Maybe this time, Davidson? Before we get to the first corner, the game keeps taking away the camera feed so we can see what's going on, but you know. Oh. I think Heidfeld might have made a small mistake. Yeah, I think he went a bit too deep into the corner. But yeah, the gap is increasing between Hamilton and Heidfeld. Will be interesting to see if maybe the 2 Ferraris can actually catch up to Hamilton or Heidfeld, because Raikkonen is right there, and Massa as well. They are not that far away, you know. And of course it will be interesting to see what kind of strategies they will try to go for. Christian Albert is in last place, behind Sato and Davidson, I believe, right? Which is, you know, expected. It's a spiker, so it's obviously a not a good car, but it does have the Ferrari engine. Surprisingly, I guess. I don't know if the 2 Ferraris are actually closing in on Heidfeld, because so far Heidfeld has been doing a good job. Okay, we got Coulthard and Schumacher fighting for P12. We of course can see Schumacher from this camera view. Alonso P9. Oh, is he overtaking someone, or he actually puts out the fastest lap? Yeah, he overtook Trulli for P8. Okay, so Alonso back in the points. Meanwhile, Hamilton is leading the race. Barrichello P18. And there we go, Schumacher and the others. There is a small group of drivers. Coulthard is really close to him. might be able to attack after this short straight. Yeah, he's really close. He might be actually able to do that. Okay, let's see the action. And he does so, yeah, nice. Great move by Coulthard. And we got Raikkonen. 2.8 seconds, so it's slowly but surely he's closing the gap to Heidfeld. And Massa is also not falling behind Raikkonen, so he's also getting closer and closer to Heidfeld. Okay, Woods being attacked by... No, Woods is attacking Coulthard into turn 1, I suppose. But yeah, sometimes the race director picks these really weird camera angles and you can't really see what's going on. Like, of course, I do not know what or how the game decides what camera angle to pick, you know. Barrichello looks up a bit, just a bit. Ahead of Davidson, he's still stuck behind Barrichello. It doesn't really look like that. He's so... Oh, nah, yeah, he's not going to dive down, yeah. Like, sometimes the AI does these dive moves, which can often, of course, pay off because they actually pull off the move, but sometimes they end up making contact and they go off the track and crash. Yeah. Woods re-overtakes Coulthard for P12. Davidson finally. Maybe he's going to make a move into turn 1. No. Yeah, he just simply doesn't have the straight line speed. I think the moment he pulls out of the slipstream, he's just... Yeah, he's not going to make it. But Barrichello made a small mistake. But yeah, it wasn't enough for Davidson to overtake him. But yeah, it does look like that the moment Davidson pulls out of the slipstream of Barrichello, he just stops, basically. He just cannot overtake Barrichello. He just doesn't have the straight line speed. So maybe with a pit stop, they can, of course, overtake the Honda team. But yeah, Hamilton is alone at the front. Davidson again, but he's... Yeah. He's not going to have the straight line speed, I think. Maybe we can stick with them. Yeah, like the moment he pulls away... Yeah. He's not going to be... Yeah, he's not going to overtake Barrichello. Doesn't have the straight line speed to do it. The only way he could is if he makes like a dive bomb, but that's dangerous, of course. There is no telling what's going to happen after that. And of course, Hamilton slowly and surely is going to start lapping these drivers. These two Ferraris definitely closed on Heidfeld. Oh, did... Oh, never mind. Oh, he did! Okay, nice, beautiful. So Davidson did manage to overtake Barrichello. Barrichello locked up and, yeah, Davidson took the opportunity. Oh, he locked up. No. Bro, I might jinx it. Because the moment I said it, Davidson locked up. But yeah, Raikkonen and Massa is really close to Heidfeld now. Meanwhile, the gap between Heidfeld and Hamilton is increasing, obviously. Top speed P15 behind Schumacher. He's not that far from him, just less than a second actually, but he just cannot get close enough. Of course, there was no DRS and stuff like that in 2007, so yeah. You had to be significantly quicker to pull off an overtake. And it does look like that Barrichello re-overtook Davidson, which is a pretty bad situation because Davidson could overtake Barrichello, but Barrichello is going to get back at him in the long straight. There was a bit of a lock-up from Alonso, I think. He's up to P6 now. He overtook Vettel. We kind of missed the action. And he's behind Kovalainen. They're actually going to swap positions for next season, basically, because Alonso goes back to Renault for 2008 and 9. Meanwhile, Kovalainen joins McLaren for 2008 and 9. But yeah, the two Ferraris definitely closing in on Heidfeld. Not going to be easy to overtake him, I can imagine. Davidson is trying his best to... Like, he would be actually quicker than Barrichello, but he would have to be like far enough so Barrichello cannot close off with the slipstream effect. But yeah, if Barrichello was not there, Davidson would be a lot quicker, or could go a lot quicker, because this is kind of like a pointless attempt, or I don't even know what to say, because it doesn't matter what Davidson does. He just cannot make the move into turn 1. He's not fast enough in the straight line. And the only point is the turn... I don't know which turn is it, or what number it is, but yeah, there is one point where he could pull off the move, like he did before, but it's at the end of the track. Like, by the time they get on the straight, Davidson will be overtaken by Barrichello again, so he's actually stuck behind him. As long as they are out on the track, of course. Once they start to pit and stuff like that, they are going to maybe change positions. As Raikkonen is right behind Heidfeld. He might be able to attack into turn 1 at the end of the lap, or in the next lap, I should say. Scott Speed is in the pits, so he's the first driver to change tires. And of course there was refueling in Formula 1 around this time. So he's going to get some fuel and new tires, I suppose. But yeah, Alonso is up to P4 now. He went through the pack really quickly. Albers is in the pits. Hamilton is in the pits, okay. We are looking at Alonso right now. Oh, he's staying out. And Nick Heidfeld leads the race. And we go back to Davidson, still trying to pull off a move against Barrichello. Yeah, a lot of drivers are pitting right now. We've got a lot of laps to go, so the two Williams cars are still out on the track. Rosberg in P8 and Woods in P9. Woods has this really interesting looking helmet design. But yeah, Alonso did come through the pack quickly, but he did lose some... Obviously he lost time with that. He was stuck behind, I think it was Fisichella for a lot of laps. It's not ideal. Raikkonen. I don't think that's close enough. Yeah, that's not close enough for a attack into turn 1. Although Heidfeld did go a bit defensive. Yeah, poor Davidson. Now both of them lock up a bit. Webber is also in the pits. So yeah, like I hate the fact that they don't make something like this in the newer Formula 1 games, you know, like the game tells you on the graphic screen that hey, someone is in the pits, you know, there is this director mode. Like I don't know why they don't do this. Well, of course, because it will require actual effort, but you know, it's a shame that today's Formula 1 races or games basically are like copy and paste, you know. It's basically the same game every year but with different cars. They don't really change things up. Although they might actually change it for 27, I believe, because there is not going to be a game for next year. Or they are going to make the DLCs, or the cars at least. They are not going to make the tracks, but they are going to make a DLC for the 25 Formula 1 game. And then they are going to make a brand new game for 27, but I don't know. And Davidson might... No, he was not able to pull off the overtake. Yeah, Heifeld is being pushed by Raikkonen really hard right here. But yeah, I don't know if they are actually going to redo a lot of things in the 27 Formula 1 game. I'm kind of skeptical about it. Barrichello's also in the pits. Okay, that's Hamilton lapping Sato. So of course they were not fighting for position. And Raikkonen is making a attack into turn 1. And even before turn 1. Oh, that was close. But yeah, Raikkonen took the lead even before turn 1. For a second I was like maybe Heidfeld is going to dive down the inside to retake first place, but yeah. Raikkonen is now going to start pulling away. Albers is being lapped by Massa. Doesn't look like he's anywhere near anyone. Also the others are trying to lap him. Right, not Raikkonen, but Schumacher. Coulthard is also in the pits. Schumacher tried to go around the outside, but it's a very dangerous spot to overtake, you know, on the oval part of the track. Sato P20 and Albers P21. Of course, he already had a retirement. Raikkonen is in the pits and Heidfeld is in the lead. He's going for a really long stint on the option tires. Okay, so it does seem like that Heidfeld is going to pit this lap. At least that's what the engineer has said. Schumacher fighting with Alonso, I believe. Yeah, I think that's Alonso, not Hamilton, lapping him. And that's one of the spikers, I think that's Sutil. Vettel is in second place, so it's a BMW Sauber 1-2 so far. That's amazing. Alonso might actually attack. Oh, that was really close. That was really close because the AI has this tendency when they are being overtaken by another AI car, they pull in front of them, you know, to completely block them off. And that's really dangerous because they're most likely going to crash if that happens, you know. Thankfully, there was no accident. But yeah, for a second I was like, Alonso is going to rear-end Schumacher. Hamilton is in third place, of course, but he already made a pit stop. I think, yeah, it does look like that Heidfeld made a pit stop. Sutil is in 7th place in the Spiker. He's coming into the pits right now. Alexander Woods is also coming into the pits, but yeah, Sutil running P7 in the Spiker is amazing. And yeah, Vettel is also going to pit this lap. Yeah, the two Sauber cars were running a long stint. Alonso P7. I don't think Spiker scored any points like ever in their time. But yeah, Sutil is doing a really damn good job. Okay, Vettel is in the pits. Raikkonen P3 right now. Okay, so Alonso still behind Schumacher. This was also the last season for Schumacher. For Ralf Schumacher, of course. I'm pretty sure he did some testing for Force India at the end of the season or in the beginning of 2008, but eventually he did not. He either rejected the offer to drive for that team or he just simply was not chosen by the team, of course, because there was like, I think 4 or 5 drivers doing a test for that team for a potential seat. But, you know, like if you had Ralph on the team, I think that's good. Especially if you are like a newcomer to Formula 1, because at this point, Ralf Schumacher has been a very experienced driver. He made his debut in 97 for Jordan. So yeah, Ralf was a really experienced driver. So yeah, maybe it was him who rejected the offer to drive for Force India for 2008. Or maybe it was just the team deciding to not to go for him. Because in the end, it was Sutil and Fisichella who drove for Force India for 2008 and 9 and 10 as well. Yeah. No, because Fisichella went back to Ferrari, or went to Ferrari, because in 2010 it was Sutil and Liuzzi at Force India, I believe. And then of course it was Di Resta and Sutil, and then it was Hülkenberg and Di Resta. Was it Di Resta? I don't even know. But yeah, like Force India was a pretty decent midfield team, to be honest. Raikkonen is getting really close to Hamilton as there are a lot of back markers ahead of them. Well, we are riding with Christian Albers, but he's not really relevant to this race, to say the least. He's last place. It's not going to change. Unless, of course, someone retires. He's 11 seconds away from Sato, so doesn't really have any pace. Heidfeld actually might pull off a podium. If, of course, he can, you know, keep it clean. But yeah, Raikkonen is really damn good. Or I should say really fast. He's closing in on Hamilton. Of course, they came out of the pits not that long ago, so maybe Raikkonen has a lighter car. Or maybe Hamilton has a lighter car, or I don't know. But yeah, maybe Raikkonen is really quick because he has the lighter car compared to Hamilton. They might have put less fuel in his car for a short stint. But yeah, the gap is only just over one second. Now Hamilton is right behind Liuzzi, who is kind of holding him up. He's not going to be happy about that. Is he going to let Raikkonen through? Does seem like it. But yeah, Hamilton did lose a lot of time in the first sector because of Liuzzi. Davidson is running in P17 in the Super Aguri. Oh, Raikkonen actually fall behind a lot. That's kind of strange, because Raikkonen was right behind him, just 1 second away. And now the gap is like maybe 3-4 seconds. Yeah, we got Kovalainen and Fisichella in P7 and P8. Yeah, Raikkonen definitely lost some time to Hamilton after he overtook Liuzzi. And there are no more lapped cars. There is some action going on between Kovalainen and his teammate, Fisichella. Fisichella might actually overtake him. Yeah, it does seem like it that Fisichella made the move into turn 1. Yep. Fisichella P7, Kovalainen P8. Albert P21 is being lapped by Webber. He doesn't really seem to give up his position that easily. Okay, Sutil P14, that's amazing. I don't know what was the best result of Spiker this season, but P14 is definitely a good race for them. Oh my god, Raikkonen is really damn quick. He already closed down the gap to Hamilton. Raikkonen is really fucking quick. But there is also someone ahead. I think that's going to be a Renault car. So that's going to be Fisichella, I believe. Or maybe it's a Super Aguri. But yeah, Heidfeld is still 3rd place. He's behind some lapped cars. Trulli is also lapping a Spiker. Guess that's going to be Christian Albers. Well, Trulli is outside the points. This season wasn't exactly a great season for Toyota. Coulthard P13. Like, I don't know who actually won this race in real life in 2007. Oh my god, Raikkonen is really pushing Hamilton now. He's right behind him. But for whatever reason, the race director keeps switching back to, you know, Heidfeld lapping a car. Like, I don't know why that's more exciting than watching the battle for the win. And we missed the overtake. Raikkonen overtook Hamilton for the lead. Ah, this game, bro. We missed the overtake. Happens, I guess. But yeah, Albers is not really closing down the gap to Sato. It's slowly increasing. Yeah, Raikkonen now has a small gap to Hamilton. Rosberg P11, bit of a lock-up from him. Just a bit of a lock-up. Well, he's really far from Trulli, so doesn't seem like he's anywhere near. Well, actually, there is his teammate, like 5 seconds behind, maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. Yeah, but unfortunately, we missed the overtake, where Raikkonen took the lead. Massa is in P4, he's closing in on Heidfeld. So it's not going to be easy for Heidfeld to actually get that podium. He would have to be faster than Massa somehow. Of course, a lot of things can happen, because there is a lot of laps to go, but, you know, I don't think that Heidfeld could outrun Massa. Okay, Coulthard. There is nothing going on around here. He's really far from Woods. He's in P13. Really quiet race for him so far. But yeah. Yeah, Raikkonen is putting a gap between him and Hamilton. Not that big of a gap, to be honest, but, you know, it's a bit of a breathing room. But yeah, it does look like that the race is going to be either decided between Raikkonen and Hamilton. Doesn't look like that Massa or Heidfeld could put in a fight or put up a fight against them. I think Raikkonen went a bit too deep into the first corner. And it's also one of the things about this game is that the AI sometimes makes these small mistakes, you know, like sometimes they just outbrake themselves or go a bit too wide, you know, like it's crazy that they had this kind of features in a game from 2002, you know. And of course the engine failures, like you can have so many different failures with the with your car. It can be a oil leak or a water leak or engine overheat and shit like that. And that kind of stuff only came back to Formula 1 games in 2017, I believe. And it's not the same because I'm pretty sure that on your user interface you can see the wear level of certain elements of your engine, like the I don't know, the turbo and stuff like that. And the game is going to warn you that you might have a engine failure, but in this game it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. No warning, nothing. The gearbox or the engine just lets go. And that's it. For you at least, because the race is going to continue, you know. The AI will compete for the win. You just simply retire from the race. I mentioned this before, but in modern F1 games, the time when you retire from a race, the game is just simply going to simulate a result, which is often makes the result very unrealistic, you know. But in this game, if you retire with some sort of issue or with a crash or whatever, the race continues, you know. And the race is actually going to play out as how it would have played out, or played out if you stayed in the race. Raikkonen fastest lap. Vettel is running P5, that's crazy. He's having an amazing debut race. It's a fantastic race for him. In real life, he finished P8, I believe. He scored like 1 point. But yeah, that's still a very, good result. And also, Sutil only 1 second away from Coulthard. He's running P14 in a spiker. That's really damn good. Yeah, 1.5 seconds to Coulthard. But Sutil is having an amazing race. And Raikkonen is actually disappeared. Yeah, he completely disappeared into the distance. The gap is now over 3 seconds between Raikkonen and Hamilton. Beres is being lapped by Wurz, I believe. Yeah, it is Wurz. I'm pretty sure this was the last time we saw Alexander Wurz in F1. After that he had like I don't know if he actually raced anywhere after that. Maybe in this A1 GP or something like that. There was this weird race series. Maybe he raced in that championship. But yeah, this was the last time we saw him as a Formula 1 driver. I'm pretty sure he was fired or let go before the end of the season for the last 2 races or 3 races. And he was replaced by Nakajima. Which was of course because of, Williams using Toyota engines between 2007 and 2009. And of course, Nakajima was I think it was Kazuki Nakajima, not Satoru Nakajima. Satoru Nakajima was his father. He drove for Lotus in the late 80s, I believe. But yeah, it was Kazuki Nakajima who drove for Williams in the late 2000s for 2 seasons. And I'm pretty sure he was he was helped to that seat by Toyota. Because of course he's a Japanese driver, And after that, of course, Toyota left F1 and Williams hired Hülkenberg and Barrichello for 2010. And they went back to the Cosworth engines for 2 seasons. And then they had 2 seasons with Renault in 2012 and 2013. And then since 2014 they have been using the Mercedes power unit, so yeah. But yeah, Davidson is pushing Schumacher really hard though. Maybe an overtake into turn 1? Well, we are not going to see because the race director decided that it's not important. It's more important to look at Hamilton overtaking some backmarkers or lapping some cars. Yeah, Woods is really far ahead of Coulthard. Truly running in P10. Webber is ahead of him. He's running in P9. Like 3 seconds. Yeah, almost 3 seconds ahead of him. I miss the Toyota cars, I think the livery was really good looking. Okay, Davidson might actually use this as an opportunity to overtake Schumacher, maybe. Okay, so he was lapped by Massa, but Schumacher is right there. Massa is going to lap Schumacher, and Davidson might take advantage of that, if he can, of course. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that Davidson can follow him through, yeah. But he's going to be really close. He might actually attack into the next corner. Yeah, Raikkonen seems to be running away with it for now, at least. Thirty laps to go. And Schumacher is still under pressure by Davidson. Which is also pretty embarrassing, you know, that Ralph is being pressured in a Toyota by someone in a Super Aguri, but, you know, it happens, I guess. I can see someone in the mirror of Heidfeld. I think that might actually be Massa. Webber is right behind Kovalainen, but he's definitely not close enough for an overtake into turn 1. Davidson might attack. Of course, the race director keeps taking away the screen before the action actually happens. Kind of annoying, but whatever. The last time the gap was 3 seconds, and yeah, the gap between Raikkonen and Hamilton is increasing slowly. Although Raikkonen is now going to lap Albers, so he might lose some time. I think he did already, so it was a clean overtake. I don't think that Albers held him up for too long or too much. Sato is being lapped by... Couldn't see who it was. I think it might have been Rosberg. Yeah, Schumacher is only P15 in the Toyota. I actually want to see what's going to happen here. Maybe Davidson will dive down? Nope. It was really close, but he just simply decided not to go for it. Although that would be the only option, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure that if Davidson would overtake Ralph, then it wouldn't matter because the long straight is right here and Ralph would be ahead of him anyway, so, you know, Ralph will re-overtake him. So once again, Davidson is stuck. Okay, Webber might be able to attack finally into turn 1. I actually want to see this, so I'm going to turn off the race director. Yep, he might be actually close enough. If he can use the slipstream for a bit. No, actually, he's not closing that much with the slipstream, so he's not in range. Davidson, once again. Kovalainen P8. Oh, that was a bit of a lock-up from Kovalainen. Webber did get a lot closer. Raikkonen is in the pits. Okay, so the race leader pitted. So it does look like that his car was lighter than Hamilton's car. Because Hamilton continues. That might have been the reason for why they had such a notable pace difference. Raikkonen was quicker because he had a lighter car. Williams cars P11, P12. I guess that would be like a normal or an average result for them this season. And Hamilton is back in the lead. As usual, Davidson is trying, but once again he does not go for it. Hamilton stays out. Fisichella, P7. I think he just left, I think that's Liuzzi. Yeah, because Raikkonen is in P6. Sutil is in the pit, okay. He pitted from like what, P14? Massa up to P3, and he's really closing in on Heidfeld. Webber, well, he's close, but he's going to back out. Yeah, the AI just gets scared and he just backs out. Fisichella in the pit. I guess Kovalainen is also going to pit. A lot of drivers are pitting, actually. Vettel up to P4. And Alonso lapping Schumacher, who is still being pressured by Davidson in the Super Aguri. Massa getting closer and closer to Heidfeld. Oh, Webber might actually go for an overtake here. No, he did not. He ended up backing out of the move. So we did not see any action. Vettel in the pit from P4, I believe. Heidfeld is in the lead. Oh yeah, that was very dangerous from Ralph to move across. Davidson. But I mentioned this before, that the AI has a tendency to do that, which often leads to an accident between them. Well, Davidson could jump Ralph in the pits, of course. Heidfeld is being held up a bit by one of the spikers. It's going to be Albers, I believe. But yeah, Massa is right behind him. That third position is still up for grabs. And of course the race win is also undecided so far, or yet have not been decided between Hamilton and Raikkonen. Alonso is also in the pit. Scott Speed is also in the pit. Vettel is running 7th after the pit stop. Rosberg 8th. I don't think he's going to... I don't think Rosberg can stay in the points, to be honest. Heidfeld being held up by Coulthard in the Red Bull. It's unfortunate for him. Massa is right behind him. Davidson is still trying. Yeah. At P6 now. He's 9 seconds away from Kovalainen. I think that's going to be like Alonso behind him, right? I mean, in terms of the track. Massa is really close behind Heidfeld. Kovalainen just left someone. One of the... Maybe it was Liuzzi. Maybe. Raikkonen is right behind them. He's Raikkonen going to get... Yeah, he's getting held up by Davidson and Ralf Schumacher. Coulthard is in the pit. Okay, so did Davidson manage to... No, it doesn't look like. Yeah, Davidson is still behind Ralf Schumacher. But man, Woods is really far ahead of Schumacher. There is 16 seconds between Heidfeld and Raikkonen. Davidson doesn't really have any choice other than, you know, staying behind Ralf. Massa is in the pits, finally. Davidson is faster than Ralf basically everywhere, except the straights, which is a pretty big part of the track, you know. Barrichello is also in the pit. Okay, who is that? That's Hamilton lapping Ralf. And Davidson managed to overtake Ralf somehow. We unfortunately did not see that. Maybe Ralf made a mistake. Yeah, that could have happened. That maybe Ralf went too wide into the first corner. But Davidson finally managed to overtake him. But yeah, Davidson is up to P13 now. Maybe he can have a better time with no one ahead of him. Okay, Heidfeld lapping Trulli, who is running P11. Not exactly a good race for Toyota, to say the least. P11 and P15 or 14 with Ralf. Twenty laps to go. That's still a very long stint to go for, so... Although I don't think the AI would pit again. I don't think they're going to pit again. Heidfeld is still leading. Okay, for a second I was like, maybe Albers is going to retire with some sort of a issue with his car. But it doesn't look like it. He was just lapping, or he was just being lapped by someone. It's a significant gap between Raikkonen and Hamilton. Last lap it was... But it's kind of the same. So... I don't know if they can... I don't know if Raikkonen could maybe keep this gap between him and Hamilton until the end of the race. Because I believe Heidfeld still has to pit, so I don't think he can go 90 more laps without refueling. But it doesn't seem like he did not pit. Still leading the race. Yeah, Heidfeld is still leading ahead of Raikkonen and Hamilton. I don't know if they are going for a extreme strategy. Maybe they are going to try to make it until the very end of the race without pitting. But I don't think he has the fuel for that. Because he will still have to do 18 laps. At P5 so far. I think that's going to be Alonso. Yeah, that's Alonso right behind him. So he's going to have a difficult time, that's for sure. To keep Fernando behind. But yeah, Sutil is doing an amazing job in P15 in a spiker. Heidfeld might be held up a bit by one of the Red Bull cars. Unfortunately for him. Hamilton is running third place. The gap is slowly increasing between him and Raikkonen. So he very well might end up losing in the end to Raikkonen. Okay, that's one of the... I think that was Vettel into the pits, maybe. I don't think that was Heidfeld. But we will see. Yeah, it was Heidfeld, okay. Okay, it was Heidfeld. We're going to have a light car, 16 laps. It's going to be a shorter pit stop. They don't have to put too much fuel into his car. But yeah, it's going to be third place. Put our P14. He's behind Davidson. I don't know if Davidson pitted yet. But he's running P13 in a Super Aguri. That's amazing. Like, of course, I know that Sato did score points for that team in that car. But, yeah. These kind of results are amazing. For a car like that, you know. Or a team like that. Scott Speed and Schumacher P16 and 17. Yeah, Ralph is not having a good race. Only P17 in the Toyota. Truly was around P11, P12 maybe. P10 maybe. Something like that. Pretty good camera angle. Okay, Davidson is into the pits from P13. And yeah, the gap between Raikkonen and Hamilton is increasing lap by lap. Heidfeld is running third place, so he made a bit of a mistake. He locked up a bit. So yeah, Heidfeld has to fight with Massa for that podium. He has to take that position away on the track. I don't think that Massa is going to pit for the rest of the race, and Alonso also has a pretty bad race, only P6 in the McLaren. It doesn't really look like that he can overtake Vettel. And to be honest, there wasn't that much action this race so far, at least. Like, we had, of course, Jensen retiring early with a engine failure, but there was not many incidents or crashes or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know if Heifeld can... I don't know if Heifeld could pull this off. But, you know, even if he doesn't, that P4 is also a really good race, or a really good result for Sauber. Okay, Albert's being lapped by one of the Toro Rosso cars. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he has any pace. Yeah, he's very far off everyone else, even from Sato, basically. Alexander Woods being lapped by Lewis Hamilton. He definitely held him up a bit. Massa, Heidfeld. Well, the gap is kind of like the same between Massa and Heidfeld, so... Of course, a lot of things can happen, because there is a chance that maybe Massa has an accident or makes a mistake or something like that, but I think if he keeps it clean, then he's not going to be losing the third position to Heidfeld. I don't think Heidfeld has the pace to actually overtake Massa on the track. Yeah, the gap is similar as it was one lap before. Doesn't seem like that Heidfeld is closing in on Massa. And, well, Massa is, I think, too far to actually catch up to Hamilton, because the gap was 8 seconds before. I don't think he could cut down that gap in just 12 laps. Hamilton. We are riding on board with Hamilton for God knows how long. And the gap is 7.1. Yeah, I don't think he can close down that kind of gap in just 11 laps. He's not that fast. And it does seem like that, yeah, Massa is actually pulling away from Heidfeld, so yeah, Heidfeld is not going to be on the podium this race. Barrichello only P18. Oh, he actually goes off, and Oh, there are some. What happened there? Oh, yeah, he's out of the race. Okay. So, Barrichello has some sort of issue. I don't know if it was maybe a driver mistake, potentially. Or maybe it was a break. Well, it just says out of the race, so I'm not sure. But yeah, Barrichello is out of the race. That's unfortunate. Only 10 laps to go. I mean, he was not having a good race, to be honest, so I don't think he would care too much. But it kind of looked like that maybe he was having a brake failure or something. Or maybe he just misjudged the braking zone big time. But yeah, so far 2 retirements. Physical P7. Hamilton is actually closing a bit on Raikkonen, but too slowly. Like he would need to close over a second per lap. And he's not that much quicker than Raikkonen. And also right now he's being held up a bit by one of these Toro Rosso cars. Liuzzi. It was Liuzzi who held him up a bit. Raikkonen still leads comfortably. He just left Rosberg in the Williams. And I think that's going to be Trulli. Yep, it does seem like it's Trulli. Ahead of him in P10, I believe. So yeah, so far 2 retirements. One was, of course, Jensen Button earlier in the race, or very early in the race. And now we have Barrichello, who's also retired, so both Honda cars are out of the race. It's very disappointing race weekend for Honda, to say the least, to have both of your cars, you know, retire with some sort of issue. But I don't know if that was a brake failure or what happened with Barrichello. For Jensen, it was a engine failure, that's for sure. I mean, his engine was on fire, so yeah. Could have been just a driver mistake for Barrichello. I don't know. Albert speed 20. He's really far away from even Takuma Sato. Almost 25 seconds away from him, to be exact. With just 8 laps to go. Hamilton second place. And the gap went back to... Wait, was that the gap between Raikkonen and Hamilton or Massa? Okay. The gap was a bit over 7 seconds, and right now it's going to be 6.6. So yeah, Hamilton is definitely a bit quicker than Raikkonen, but nowhere near quick enough to catch up to him. Massa is also slightly quicker for closing the gap to Hamilton, but yeah, it's not going to be enough for that second place. It does look like that it's going to be a Ferrari race win today, followed by a McLaren and then another Ferrari. But there is still 7 laps to go, so we will see. Unexpected things can happen after all, so... Okay, so let's see the gap now. It went back to 7 seconds. So it's fluctuating around 6.5 and 7 seconds, so yeah. Or maybe Kimi decided to push it a bit more. Or maybe Hamilton made a mistake, I don't know. It's possible. He made like a small mistake, maybe he went a bit too wide into one of the corners. The gap was almost 7.1 and it's 7. Yeah, it's not going to happen for Hamilton as long as Kimi stays in the race. Truly P11. Wurz is behind him. P12, but yeah, he's nowhere near close enough for a attack, especially with Massa between them. Oh wait, no, that's actually a Toro Rosso. There's not much happening on the track. There's no battles or anything like that right now. Liuzzi P18. In the Toro Rosso. He's really far away from Schumacher. Is he going to... we didn't really see it, but it did look like that he tried to retake his lap or unlap himself. And yeah, Sutil is P15, meanwhile Davidson is P14. This is kind of like the only battle happening right now between one of the Spiker cars and one of the Super Aguris. The Woods got lapped by Massa and Heidfeld. Just 5 laps to go. Yeah, like everyone is basically so far away from each other, except maybe Massa and Heidfeld and Sutil and Davidson, basically. But those guys are fighting for P14, so it's not a big fight to say the least. But actually, there is the two Renault cars, P7 and P8, last point scoring positions. Yeah, they are pretty close, Physical and Kovalainen to each other, less than a second. But this might change because Raikkonen is coming up behind them to lap them again. Or maybe it's... well, maybe it's going to be the first time for Raikkonen to lap the two Renault cars. You know, I don't know if they got lapped before this race. Yeah, Massa P3 still. Yeah, the gap is definitely increasing between Massa and Hamilton. Unfortunately for Massa. Just 3 laps to go of the 2007 United States Grand Prix. Just 2 laps to go. And then Raikkonen is going to win. Like as I mentioned before, I do not know who won real life in or at this race in 2007. I don't know if it was maybe Raikkonen or maybe it was Hamilton or Alonso. I don't know. Yeah, Sutil isn't close enough to attack Davidson. Almost 4 seconds behind, so this battle is kind of over between them. And Raikkonen began his last lap. Hetfeld is lapping Alberts, of course. He couldn't get close enough for an overtake on Massa. Unfortunately for him, he ended up losing that spot, but I think this was a great race for him and for Sauber as well, because I'm pretty sure Vettel is running P6, maybe. Yeah, let me just stay with Raikkonen for the remainder of the lap. He's just completing the final few corners of the 2007 United States Grand Prix. And onto the long straight, just the oval part of the track that remains. And there are the marshals waving the flags for him. And Kimi Räikkönen wins the United States Grand Prix. Behind him is going to be Hamilton, second place. He started from pole but couldn't get the win. Then we have Massa in P3. And Heidfeld did put up a good fight, but eventually it wasn't enough for a podium. Then we have Alonso. It seems like he managed to overtake Vettel, and he's going to finish in P5. Then there is Vettel, P6 on his debut race. That's amazing. It's better than what he did in real life. He finished P8 in real life, I believe. Yeah, we got Coulthard also finishing the race. We got a Super Aguri. It's going to be Davidson coming across the line, and Sutil P15, and the two Renault cars, Fisichella and Kovalainen, finishing P7 and P8. Sato P20, I believe, or P19, something like that. And then it does look like everyone else finished the race. Yeah, indeed, everyone finished the race. Oh, well, what a... I mean, it wasn't that chaotic, to be honest. Like, it was a decent race, in my opinion. But, yeah, we did have some retirements. We had Button and Barrichello, the two Honda cars. Starting grid. Full race result, let's see. Okay, so, of course, we have Raikkonen winning ahead of Lewis Hamilton by 9 seconds. Then we have Massa, Hetfeld, Alonso eventually managed to climb up to P5. Vettel finishes an amazing P6 for his debut race. Then we have Fisichella, Kovalainen, the last two point scoring positions go to Renault, Webber P9 and Rosberg P10. So it does look like that Rosberg finished ahead of Trulli. We didn't really see that overtake, but yeah, You got Trolling, P11, Woods, P12, Coulthard, Davidson, Sutil. But these two did really good races, or really good race today because, well, P14 and P15 in a Super Aguri and the Spiker is amazing. But yeah, we got Ralf Schumacher, really disappointing race for him, just P17, Liuzzi P18, and Sato and Albers. And it does look like that it was an oil leak for Jensen Button, and it was just a DNF for Barrichello. So it does look like that maybe it was a mistake from his part to go off the track and crash, but yeah. Okay. Continue. Okay. So I'm going to switch back to the other screen. And then I'm going to conclude the live. Just let me quit the game. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it was. I have to say it was a decent race, although it wasn't as exciting as I was maybe hoping for. I was kind of hoping there would be more action or more like crashes or something like that. But the AI kept it clean. There was some contact between the two Super Aguris that we saw earlier in the race, but other than that, it was a pretty clean race. So yeah, I think I might do more streams like this of this game, where I just simply commentate on the race and stuff like that, because I do like this game a lot. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's stream. Tomorrow, I do not know what I'm going to be playing. I might play some Star Wars again, or I might do some more Blue Protocol again. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope that you guys will have a great day or a great night or whatever. I see you next stream. So bye bye.